everybody, welcome back to Toni's Tack Tips, a channel for the what, how, and why of horsemanship. Today we'll be talking about how to put a clay poultice on a leg. To poultice a leg, you'll need a clay poultice. Make sure the poultice is still wet and malleable. If it started to dry out, try adding water, or you might need to replace it. Next, you'll need a sheet of brown paper, 2 to 3 feet long. If you don't have a roll, paper towels or brown paper bags work just fine. Finally, standing wraps. Make sure to use a pair you don't mind getting a little messy. To start, get your paper slightly damp, either with a hose or by dunking it in a bucket. Make sure you don't get it too wet that it starts to fall apart, but it should be wet enough that it's slightly sticky. The water will help keep the poultice moist overnight, and the layer of paper will help keep your standing wraps from getting too messy. Now you can apply your poultice. As always when working around the legs, squat or bend over at a 90-degree angle to the leg. For clay poultices, you can start with a wet or dry leg. Dig out a small handful of the clay and smear it onto the leg, starting just around the knee or hock. Apply in a downwards motion on the leg to make sure the hairs lie flat beneath it. If I have extra left over on my hands, I like to put it all over the knee or pasterns, anywhere that hasn't been covered yet. Keep going until you have a thin, even layer over the entire lower leg. You shouldn't have any chunks of clay or bare spots. You can use gloves if you want to keep your hands from getting too messy. I like to poultice all the way down to the back of the pastern and up over the knee, areas not usually covered by standing wraps, but that can still get inflamed or swollen. But what is a clay poultice? Clay poultices, or cool poultices, are used to increase circulation and bring down swelling or heat. They can be used anywhere on the body, but they're most commonly used on the lower leg, which is a frequent site of inflammation. The great thing about poultice is that you can really get it into all the contours of the leg, as well as places that aren't generally covered by standing wraps, including the pasterns, knees, and hocks. They're a great tool to help bring down stockiness, edema, or any inflammation in the legs, due to exercise, injury, or just general wear and tear. I typically use a poultice when a horse is off on one or more legs and they have a bit of fill, or swelling, and heat in their leg. I'll also use it on horses that chew or won't tolerate standing wraps, or if a horse has heat and swelling somewhere difficult to wrap, such as the hock or stifle, as it provides the same anti-edema effect as wrapping without the hassle. They can also be used to prevent swelling after strenuous exercise, such as jumping in a big class, and, provided there are no medicated ingredients, it is legal to use at competitions. Now, take your wet brown paper and wrap it around the leg, in the same direction as you would put on a standing wrap. Do your best to lay it evenly and cover as much of the poultice as possible. The more you cover, the more effective it will be. Plus, the cleaner your wraps will stay. Once it's on the leg, press it down with your hands to make sure that the paper adheres to itself and the poultice. This will make it less likely to slip later. Finally, put on a standing wrap over the paper. I'd recommend using a pair that you're okay with getting a bit messy. For more information on how to do this correctly, be sure to check out my How to Wrap Your Horse's Legs video, link in the description. While the wraps will not necessarily help the poultice work better, they will prevent the horse from chewing on the poultice, getting the poultice all over themselves, or shaving sticking to the poultice and pulling it off. Also, even if you do not poultice both legs, always wrap both. Depending on the situation, wrapping both legs can help prevent additional swelling or stocking up in the other leg, provide a bit of extra support if the horse is favoring one leg, or just be more aesthetically pleasing to workers and clients who walk through the barn. Congratulations, you've correctly poulticed a leg! I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked what you saw, or even if you didn't, be sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my new videos. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Toni's Tack Tips. And if you have any questions or things you'd like to learn or content you'd like to see, comment below and I'll try to make it happen. Thanks so much for watching, and remember to always ask why. Bye for now.